The most infamous spy scandal actually involved a clear miscarriage of justice, as a French Jewish officer, Alfred Dreyfus, was convicted in 1894 of passing military plans to the Germans. The convoluted and sordid story began in 1894 when a French cleaning lady in the German embassy in Paris pulled an unsigned document out of the German military attaché's wastebasket in his office and then passed it to her other real employer, the French military counterintelligence. That document talked about someone having gotten important French war plans to the Germans. And this set the French counterintelligence into an uproar as they sought the guilty party. Their suspicions settled on someone different than themselves, a 35-year-old talented staff officer, Captain Alfred Dreyfus, a French patriot of Jewish heritage. When arrested, Dreyfus proclaimed his innocence and rejected the urgings of those who had arrested him to simply confess. When French anti-Semites found out about the affair, they clamored for his conviction. The army obliged, with a court-martial that was closed to the public. Dreyfus was convicted, and later it turned out that his conviction was on the basis of a secret dossier that had been prepared, which was shown to the judges, but not to Dreyfus or to his defense lawyer. Dreyfus was condemned to life on Devil's Island in French Guiana in the southern Atlantic. Evidence appeared soon afterwards that the real culprit was someone else, someone still at large, because the military leak was still flowing. Plans were still going to the Germans. The real culprit was a Christian officer by the name of Ferdinand Esterhazy, but this was covered up. Esterhazy's social connections were just too prominent. He was acquitted in a court-martial. And, just to complete the case, forged documents that were created to further tar Dreyfus's reputation and to suggest that he was guilty were placed in his secret file. In 1898, however, a large social campaign for Dreyfus's innocence was revved up, and the French writer Émile Zola wrote a famous article by the name of I Accuse, in French J'accuse, which made the case notorious. Soon, it wasn't even referred to as the Dreyfus affair. You just had to say the affair in France, and people knew what you were talking about because it had divided society and entire families. Ugly riots took place against Jews in French cities with cries that the Jews must be killed. The case dragged on until in 1899 another court-martial took place, and this one also declared Dreyfus guilty, but said that he was guilty with extenuating circumstances, and then very quickly the French president pardoned him. Didn't declare him innocent, simply pardoned him. It was only later, in 1906, that Dreyfus was finally exonerated and reinstated. The outbursts of anti-Semitism that had been unleashed in the affair were an ominous foreshadowing of the storms of hatreds that would gather and finally culminate in the Nazi genocide.